Beat. Gold is trading at $1,513. Silver is trading at $17.11. And Bitcoin is trading around $10,377. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a New York medical examiner announced Friday that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide by hanging himself in his jail cell. The Mind Unleashed reports the 66-year-old millionaire pedophile was found in his cell on Saturday morning at the Manhattan Metropolitan Correctional Center, after which he was rushed to a nearby hospital and pronounced dead. The ruling comes after the Washington Post revealed that Epstein's autopsy found multiple breaks in his neck bones, commonly found in victims of homicide by strangulation, the hypoid bone near the Adam's apple. The results, however, still don't explain the shrieking reportedly heard from Epstein's jail cell around the time of his death. Meanwhile, an attorney who had visited Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center said Epstein spent at least 2 hours alone in a private room with a young woman, the day after he was reportedly taken off of suicide watch. The private room is reserved for inmates and their attorneys. The attorney said the young woman was in the private room with Epstein for at least 2 hours during his visit to MCC. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Civil liberties groups and privacy advocates raised alarm Thursday after the Trump administration called on Congress to reauthorize an NSA mass surveillance program that was exposed by whistleblower Edward Snowden. The New York Times, which obtained the Trump administration's request to Congress, reported that the administration urged lawmakers to make permanent the legal authority for the National Security Agency to gain access to logs of Americans' domestic communications, the USA Freedom Act. The Mind Unleashed reports the administration claimed in its letter to Congress, which was signed by outgoing National Intelligence Chief Dan Coats, that the NSA has suspended the spying program. But Free Press Action Government Relations Director Sandra Fulton said in a statement that this should give little comfort to those whose privacy rights are routinely violated by authorities. Patrick Toomey, senior staff attorney for the ACLU's National Security Project, urged Congress to ignore the Trump administration's request and let the surveillance program die. As the country increasingly sheds its prohibitionist stereotypes and misconceptions about psychedelic drugs, scientists and psychiatrists are increasingly embracing their potent qualities as game changers in the fight to treat mental health disorders. The Mind Unleashed reports that the new trend unfolding across the U.S. has converted drugs like ketamine, once known primarily as a recreational drug used at raves and underground concerts, into a powerful tool for mental health professionals in the Midwest. Also, a growing body of research has laid out the benefits of psychedelic drugs such as magic mushrooms. Recent studies have shown how a microdose of psilocybin, far from the level needed for a full-blown trip, actually increases the creativity and empathy for participants. Advocates note that psilocybin has also shown great promise in psychotherapeutic settings. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Thousands took to the streets to protest the NYPD's Stop and Kiss program. New Yorkers who've been stopped often say the encounters feel extremely intrusive.
Going through my pockets, throwing my stuff on the ground, kissing me on my neck and face. They pushed me up against the wall and started nibbling on my ear.
Joining us now is legal analyst Susan Hughes and Mark Brennan, a former police officer who has defended the Stop and Kiss program.
Look, it's one thing to kiss someone who you think might commit a crime, but these officers are just kissing people left and right with no probable cause.
If you've got nothing to hide, then it's not a problem. They just stop, ask where you're going, give you a gentle kiss or two, and let you go.
Mark, there have been examples, public examples, where these procedures have just gone too far. Let's take a look at a disturbing cell phone video that's been making the rounds on the internet.
Stop! Put your hands on your head. Oh, come on, man. They just kissed me 2 blocks ago. Come on, man. I didn't do anything.
Shut the f up and let me kiss you.
Look, the cops can either kiss people now before there's violence, or they can be kissing a bunch of dead bodies at a crime scene.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Take control of the airwaves. That number's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And Michael.
And, man, none of us know that much about what's happening in Hong Kong, which is frustrating because it seems like it's probably pretty big news.
It's definitely been big news.
But it's one that I've also largely avoided, primarily because it's the Chinese government here. I mean, let's be honest. And they're not exactly freedom friendly.
Nope.
So they're going to do whatever they want to do to Hong Kong, and it really doesn't matter whether the people of Hong Kong like it or not.
Well, it does. Well, I mean, if enough people are going to cause a difficulty in the streets, if enough people are going to not obey and do what they're told, then it does matter.
Well, the Chinese government will just kill them. That's what they did in Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, well, are they going to kill 750,000 people?
That would be a relatively small number compared to the number of Uyghur Muslims they have being re-educated right now, many of whom are being killed.
The thing about Hong Kong is if you go in there and kill 750,000 people, you kill the economy. It's like killing the golden goose.
I don't think the Chinese government cares about that, though. I mean, what they seem to care about, based on my experience watching the Chinese government, is control of the Chinese people.
Well, yeah, there is that.
But in other news, a controversial study is suggesting that fluoride in the water makes people dumber. Michael, you brought that in. Do you have it?
I did. I do have this up, but my tablet's a little flaky, so I'll try to read this, but you might want to...
Well, before we get into it, I mean, fluoridated water, that's such an interesting topic all by itself, because fluoride is a poison, right?
And in theory, I mean, there are people who say that
well, there's a reason the dentists tell you not to, eat or drink for 30 minutes. Yeah,
right. Don't swallow it because it could harm you. But yeah, it's supposed to be good for tooth decay and stopping cavities and all that. And that's why they put it in everyone's water supply.
Well, except for here. They don't do it in where we live. Not every place fluoridates its water supply. And the reason they say they don't do it in Keene is because there's naturally occurring fluoride in the water here.
Well, then.
Interesting. Yeah. So they don't remove it, but they also don't add it.
Correct.
Well, that's still unfortunate. But, I mean, yeah, there are conspiracy theories all around fluoride saying that, it lowers people's sex drives, it lowers their testosterone, it makes them dumber, it makes them more compliant, less likely to resist government encroachment on their rights. But evidently, now there is a study suggesting that it does indeed have an impact on pregnant women and the babies that they are carrying.
Yeah, this study does find a link, and it is controversial because this is the first study I'm aware of that was actually published in a peer-reviewed journal. Let's just get into this from AFP.
Well, that's not worth a whole lot when, on average, I think it was 25%. I was just reading about this today. 25% of all citations used in these peer-reviewed papers and things like that are self-citations. It's people with PhDs citing themselves in papers. And when they're not self-citations, they're citations from people who have co-authored papers with them in the past.
It's a small world.
It's not that small.
In scientific research, if you're in certain fields, it can be a very small world in certain disciplines. But let's see, where were we?
So what's going on with the IQ thing?
A study published on Monday, which is today, linked consumption of fluoridated tap water during pregnancy to lower IQ scores in infants. This is a finding at odds with decades of public health messaging extolling the mineral's benefits in reducing cavities.
I'd like to know how you test IQ with infants.
I think we do get into this a little bit later.
IQ, I find to be generally a useless metric anyway.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Well, if you're giving I'm not sure it matters what is on the test. If you're giving everyone the same test, then it probably doesn't matter all that much.
Because I don't think any one person is any smarter or dumber than any other. It's just a matter of whether or not they're willing to put in the work to exercise the brain power that they have. And I think in most cases people don't because they don't really need to, you know?
Well, infants, I mean, are they going to be lazy? Are they going to decide not to
They're
exercise
intellectually lazy almost by definition. I mean, they're not sitting around pondering the implications of quantum mechanics here.
No, but they might be trying to determine the difference between a square and a circle.
Which is a matter of knowledge and not a matter of intelligence.
Whether one goes into the, could be.
I'm trying to think back when I took an IQ test in elementary school. And there was a large amount of math, I think, that had to be done on that IQ test, if I recall correctly. I think there might have been some kind of fitting shapes and holes.
Yeah, I had one when I was about 10, and I don't recall that much of it, but I seem to recall there was a whole lot of pattern matching.
Yeah. I've never taken an IQ test because I know how my ego works, and there's no result that would be good for me. I would either be dumber than I think I am or smarter than I thought I was, and neither of those. But I did take the test.
Smarter than you thought you were be a good score? Isn't that like?
But it would just boost the ego. So,
okay.
Well, so I'm just better off not knowing. I know, having taken the test to join Mensa, that I'm technically a genius and smart enough to join Mensa.
All right.
I'm good. That's good enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. Several outside experts expressed concern over the research's methodology and questions its conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
No surprise, though some found the results compelling enough to merit further investigation. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention named community water fluoridation one of 10 great public health achievements of the 20th century because of its contribution to the steep decline in tooth cavities in the United States over several decades.
That's the part that really concerns me. You know, it's not just the very weak excuse of preventing tooth decay, because that's not like a public health crisis, right? That's a halitosis problem. Give people some breath mints. For the most part, they'll be okay, right? It's not worth it to have this entire social experiment that we're running.
Think breath mints are going to solve tooth decay.
Yeah, probably not.
That's true, but I mean, it's not like. Sure, I guess it could probably lead to mouth cancer or something. I don't know, but it's not like a major concern, right?
Well, it is a major concern for the people in the dental field. I mean, if you talk to like dental hygienists and dentists, these people fully believe in fluoridation. I mean, it's probably what they're indoctrinated with in the college system, but they're fully behind that concept. Like, they will comment when I go to the dentist here in this area, in the Keene, New Hampshire area. I've had a dental tech comment to me like, "Oh, your teeth are in such great shape, blah blah blah. You must not have been born here." They say that some of the people in this area aren't particularly good, as far as their mouths are concerned, as far as their teeth are concerned, and they attribute it not to poorly taking care of your mouth and not brushing your teeth or whatever, but they actually attribute a lot of it to the fact that the water isn't fluoridated on purpose here. Again, there is some sort of natural, I don't know if it's fluorine or fluoride, but there is some sort of naturally occurring flora something.
But see, to prevent this tooth decay, we waged this massive social experiment without having any consideration or any knowledge of what sort of long-term effects it could have.
Well, there's definitely a lot of knowledge on people taking fluoride for a long term, right? Like, it's been out there for a long time.
Yeah, the health experts say it's safe, and unless you're a rat.
Well, they used to say that smoking was safe too. I mean, let's keep that in mind. Smoking used to be perfectly
Weren't there commercials
safe
with doctors recommending cigarettes back in the day?
Winston, right?
They said that opiates were perfectly safe. When Tramadol first came out, they were like, this is totally non-addictive. And I mean, they generally don't know what they're talking about, in my experience.
Well, I don't know if fluoride is the reason why people have better teeth. Maybe they're actually brushing their teeth more often and taking good care of their mouths. Because I guarantee you, if I sit around eating a bunch of candy all day and all I do is rinse my mouth with some water, I don't think that's going to do the job to prevent cavities.
Yeah, it probably won't help.
I think high fructose corn syrup would be more likely the catalyst of the rise of tooth decay or whatever caused them to put fluoride in the water in the first place. I mean, we're eating a lot more sugar than we ever have at any point in human history, without even getting into the grains and all of those things, which are loaded in carbohydrates, which is sugar.
Yeah.
All of which is probably pretty bad for your teeth. So I don't know. Maybe the fluoride is helpful. What do you think? Give us a call and let us know. Call us toll-free at 855-450-3733 or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Give us a call at 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And Michael.
And I want to tell you about local.bitcoin.com because Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash with dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. It's really awesome. I absolutely love the site. A lot of those payment methods I just mentioned are high risk, like Venmo and PayPal. So be careful on the site, definitely. But there's no ID requirements. And all communications between traders are encrypted. After a trade completes, after 7 days, the keys to the chat are deleted. So they finally have provided us with an exchange that respects our privacy. And I absolutely love it, despite all of and these problems aren't their fault, but despite all of the problems that I've run into in the last 24 hours selling Bitcoin Cash.
And you're going to run into those problems on the other sites too.
Absolutely. And they'll probably be a bit worse. I have found the local.bitcoin.com admin team to be extremely responsive. It probably helps that I am the top trader on the site. So if I contact one of the admins...
Yeah, congratulations on more than 200 trades
Thank
now.
you.
In what, month and a half? I mean, how long has it been?
It's been since July the 4th that I began really focusing on it. So yeah, about a month and a half. Yeah. Of course, I was sitting there at a bar last night, hanging out with people, getting drunk, way drunker than I should have been to be dealing with this sort of thing.
Don't drink and trade Bitcoin.
Well, I was not trading Bitcoin. I was
Bitcoin Cash.
But I received an email from someone who claimed to have been scammed by me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was very jarring. He was supposed to get some concert tickets to see the Rolling Stones in exchange for a $200 payment he sent to my email address.
Oh, no.
And it very quickly confused me enough that I was like, okay, look, I have to deal with this in the morning. I will contact you then. And as I was showering this afternoon, I realized what was going on. This other trader that I had traded with at least once in the past was opening up trades with me, getting other people to send me the money in exchange for promises that he was making them.
That is what you call a man-in-the-middle attack.
Yes.
And it is fairly common in the online selling of cryptocurrency world.
So luckily, he has been trying... It always raises my alarms when people send me money without opening trades. I'm aware that some people do this because they just want to get it done. They know that I'll come online and I'll just immediately release the escrow if they have a strong trade history with me anyway, which is generally how it works. But this person sent me $100 like 8 hours later than they were supposed to.
That's
so, of
bad.
course, I didn't release it. But yeah, because the payment method is instant. So that automatically makes me think, well, okay, but, you know, maybe they had to authenticate with their bank, whatever, it happens. But they immediately sent me an additional payment for twice that amount and didn't even open up the trade with me for me to complete a trade in the first place. So I didn't. Finally, they did, and they're like, hey, you haven't sent me the $200 worth of Bitcoin Cash. I was like, hey, you didn't open a trade with me for that amount, you idiot. What do you expect me to do here?
You sent money before, and it wasn't even that person, turns out. But you had money sent before you even opened a trade and agreed to the terms.
Yeah, that's absolutely moronic, right? Who does that with their own money? So I was already suspicious of this user. And then I received that email for exactly that same amount of money. This person was supposed to get concert tickets. So that sucked. And as a result of all of that, the checking account got closed because to them, they're unable to distinguish between someone frauding me and me being the one to commit the fraud. You know, for all they know, I was the one who promised this guy concert tickets. I obviously wasn't.
Right.
But I don't have any way to prove that. I don't have any way to prove that this person scammed me as well.
Yeah. You were the victim of the scam.
Absolutely. I'm the only one who lost money in this, right? So be aware of that. It's not all roses and wine.
Yeah, I will say that if you're going to buy Bitcoin Cash and you buy from somebody who's got a reputation, you're probably going to be fine with something like a PayPal.
That's very true.
If you're selling it with those methods, you're taking on a high level of risk.
Yeah, probably 90% of my trades are people with no trade history, which is fine. I once had no trade history, but because of that, there is a greatly increased risk.
Yep.
And this was all before I began implementing KYC in the first place.
Know your customer.
Yeah. To, verify that people were who they claimed to be. But even if I had done that with this person, it wouldn't have helped because they would have just had that person send them a picture of their photo ID and a selfie and all of that. The one place it would have caught them was the handwritten note saying, whatever, as you and I have discussed in the past, They can't claim that they thought they were buying concert tickets if they wrote down that they were buying Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, I don't know if the fact that it's like an online method makes that. I'd have to think harder and see if there are holes in that method because the scammers will find the holes. They are creative.
They certainly will.
And they got nothing better to do.
But it is great. It's relatively rare, and I know that I sound like I'm dealing with just fraud and scams on a daily basis, but I am at 200 trades now.
Right. Out of 200 trades, how many of them would you say turned out to be bad? Like how many were undone? How many
bad?
how many were reversed?
Probably 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not even 10%.
No, certainly not.
5%. Almost 5%. Yeah, 3%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all good. It's all great. The vast majority of people buying and selling crypto, are honest and reliable people. But you do have those few out there who are just interested in a quick buck, and they don't care about their reputation because you can't trace them down in the first place.
Right. And even if it was a site that required people to show identification to get on the site, it wouldn't make a difference because there's all kinds of stolen IDs out there.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys hear about the Binance hack that was allegedly hacked? Binance is denying that it was actually their database that got taken. They said that what happened was some hacker was trying to get Binance to pay up. It said that he'd hacked like 10,000 Know Your Customer photographs.
Wow.
So like when you sign up for a lot of these Bitcoin exchanges, you have to like usually hold your passport or your driver's license in your hand. Frequently you have to have like a handwritten note that says the name of the exchange and like your signature and a date. And I'm not sure what Binance requires, but at the very least they required people holding up their ID.
Interesting.
And so there was a bunch of photographs that this hacker was releasing, claiming came from Binance. Claimed he had 10,000. He even had a Telegram channel where he was just posting photo after photo after photo of these people's Know Your Customers. So
what I heard there is that Binance had outsourced their KYC to a third party
for a time,
and the hacker got those records.
That's the claim. Yeah. So, but either way, there's a bunch of people, photographs of people holding identification out there just floating around that some hacker got a hold of. So,
I mean, there are entire markets on the dark web for stealing people's information.
Right. Yeah. So it's trivial.
I had somebody ask me about that yesterday, a past trader, and I was like, look, man, I don't know anything about this. I don't want to know anything about this, and I'm not selling anything else to you. Good day.
Yeah, it's absolutely trivial for those people to get a hold of an ID. So them to create an account on any of those other sites is really pretty meaningless. So,
but local.bitcoin.com at least doesn't require that.
Yep.
And that's a beautiful thing. The crypto world needs a place where we can buy and sell cryptocurrency without jumping through all of the hoops that other exchanges like Coinbase are trying to make us jump through. 855-450-3733. Give us a call. Let us know what you think.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. investors with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of FreedomsPhoenix.com get every day. FreedomsPhoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. Give us a call toll-free at 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
I'm Ian.
And Michael.
My Magic Mud is available to you at 20% off. Use code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. Why would you want to do that? Because it's an amazing product. Black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. Sounds counterintuitive that black tooth powder would actually be clinically proven to whiten teeth, but that's a fact. And the reason why it's been so successful, well, look at all the different health stores that are picking it up. Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, Wal-Mart, Natural Beauty Aisle. I mean, if this product wasn't useful and it wasn't effective, I suspect it would not get that distribution. So check them out for yourself over at mymagicmud.com. You don't have to go to any of those stores when you can get 20% off by using code FTL20. We get their product here, and I use it. Actually, I use the toothpaste just because it's easier, and not quite. You're gonna make a mess because it's black, but that's part of the fun. MyMagicMud.com. Use code FTL20.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I use the toothpaste, but it just rinses off with water, so you do that anyway.
It does tend to make the sink get a little tinged darker over time because all the splatter kind of.
Well, they can just rinse the sink.
Yeah,
you clean the sink. I mean, that's
sure.
I thought it was the powder that was like really bad.
The powder is a little messier, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, let's get into the phones. We got Patrick calling in from North Carolina. Patrick, you are on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, get funky.
Patrick?
You look confused, Aria. This is a little bit of little tunes there. What was that, Michael Jackson?
I don't know what it was.
I couldn't
hear
Jackson.
any of it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe he had some background music playing while he waited.
He waited that long. He waited that long just to do that.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people don't have anything better to do.
Well, they should start a show.
Well, you could call in and actually talk to us.
Well, yeah. I mean, those people don't have. I mean, they're not going to start a show because they don't have anything to say.
Good point.
What's that guy going to do?
There is proof that he had nothing to say, in fact.
I guess he could start a show and play the same music that has been played on various different radio stations for decades, because that's what he was doing there. It's a great song.
I didn't recognize it.
I don't know.
I'm not a big Michael Jackson fan, though, so
it was one of the oldies from the 70s.
That was like the
or
Jackson 5,
60s,
I think, way back when.
Well, it sounded like it was being played through a very old radio.
It sounded like it was being played through a speaker with a phone held up to it. It sounded terrible.
It did.
Yeah.
So anyway, this study evidently...
We're back on the fluoride thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is being revealed, allegedly, to make people stupid. Or
wait, the study's being revealed to make people stupid?
The study is revealing that fluoride is making people stupid.
Okay,
Sorry.
good.
Yeah. Or at least that's how I would characterize it. Because the average person, in my opinion, is already pretty stupid. And we're talking people losing 4.5 points to their IQ.
Right.
Allegedly.
Now, wait a minute. They tested infants here, right?
No, they didn't. They tested people who were 4 to 5 years old.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought there was something in there about infant IQ.
Well, excuse me, at
studies.
age 3 or 4.
Age 3 or 4.
Got it.
Yeah. So at least they're not infants. They're toddlers, I think, is the word for people that age.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I'll take your
word
word for it.
What they're testing is kids who are ages 3 to 4 whose parents drank fluoridated water when they were pregnant.
Ah.
And we're very quickly going to run out of a control for such a study.
Well, this study was done in Canada, and there's a lot less fluoridation in Canada. It says in the article only 39% of Canadians
water supplies?
have fluoridated water.
Huh.
What is it in the U.S.?
It's like
a lot more. I bet.
75. I think. Weren't you saying it was like 75%?
That sounds
well, it
right,
says
but
here
I don't
nearly
know.
3 in 4 Americans.
Yeah.
So wow. Certainly not good. Evidently, the journal took the unusual step of issuing an editor's note that said the decision to publish was not easy and that it had been the subject to additional scrutiny. Now, that's alarming. Scientists have, assuming all of this is true, researchers have identified something that is making people less intelligent, and they're concerned about the controversy of releasing said study.
So the peer review wasn't good enough. They had to do some extra review on this one.
And then essentially put a disclaimer on it saying, oh, we were scared to do this, but we had to.
This is the Journal of the American Medical Association. They're like the top journal in their field. They have their reputation to protect.
Experiments in water fluoridation began in the early 20th century, and that's how I would like to best characterize them as experiments. And we've
an ongoing experiment, right?
Yeah, and we've done it to the entire society, and we don't know what affects it. No, okay, fair point. Neither have I.
Okay,
but the government has done it to the entire society without. This isn't the first time that this has happened. We began burning large amounts of gasoline, pumping known we know now they're carcinogens, into the atmosphere. We never stopped to think what sort of long-term effects this could have. And now we're like, where is all this cancer coming from? Well, it might be the carcinogens we are literally pumping into the atmosphere on a daily basis.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with cancer. Some people say cancer is the worrier's disease. If you worry enough, you'll just worry yourself into a cancer.
That could be true as well.
Yeah, isn't it possible that these things are actually just manifesting themselves for some reason or another?
It's a question of how much control the brain has over the human body,
right?
Consciously and subconsciously. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've also done it with high fructose corn syrup, just putting it in every freaking food you can find.
You need to stop doing that stuff, Aria, man.
Yeah.
You're always putting high fructose corn syrup in stuff.
And of course, we have no idea what implications it will have. So now America is looking around going, wow, our obesity rates really skyrocketed.
Well, I don't think you can blame high fructose corn syrup, because I suspect that even if you had sugar in soda pop, the people that go to the store and buy flats and flats and flats of 24-pack Mountain Dew and whatever else, Coca-Cola, and then they take them home and they live off of those things, I don't think it would make that big of a difference in obesity whether or not you had sugar or high fructose corn syrup in there.
As I've heard it in the past, it does, because the high fructose corn syrup has a different fructose to glucose ratio than what the body is ordinarily expecting.
Hey, by no means am I a health expert or anything like that.
I'm
but
certainly not.
If you're taking in can after can after can of sugary soda pop, whether it's high fructose or fructose, normal fructose, or sugar, I think you're going to add a bunch of calories to your body, and probably you're going to get fat.
That's true, but not necessarily get diabetes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay then.
So
no
I don't
worries.
know.
You guys just calling
Drink
me out
them
here
down.
tonight.
Drink them down. Wait, you don't go to the store and get flats of cola, do you?
No, more like 6-packs, but
okay.
No.
I mean, I remember working in retail back in the 90s at big Kmart back in the day, and seeing literally
this was in the South, right?
Yeah, in the South,
Florida.
Very
I'm not
overweight.
surprised.
If you're not familiar, the American South actually sells soda in 3-liter bottles.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, but
I
believe
never
it.
seen that.
But they had, as large of a package of soda cans that you could get, right? Like 24, however many it was large, and they stacked them in the shopping cart. It was literally like a shopping cart full of soda. The women were frequently quite obese, and with little obese kids with them, and this was their shopping trip. They wanted to go and get just a ton of soda.
That's so strange to me.
So I mean, that's just not good for you, period. To instead of ingesting water all the time or something that's a little better for you, just your number one fluid that you're drinking is
you can't live on soda alone.
Soda.
I drink this stuff, but I drink other things too.
Yeah.
So
I still drink these lemonades, which they're loaded with sugar themselves.
Yeah, sure.
But not quite as bad as sodas.
Right.
And I no longer drink sodas because I once had a kidney stone, and I think that was the cause.
Just one?
Ooh. Yes.
Oh, you lucked out.
Well, I was like, I'm never doing this again. So I increased my citric acid intake considerably, and that's why I'm okay with lemonade. Because the citric acid helps to break down the calcium, which is what a kidney stone is.
Right.
So, I don't know. It was a very unpleasant experience. I was like, you know what? Those Pepsis are not worth it. I will still drink maybe like 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Then it's a treat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm certainly not walking out of Kmart with a flatbed of them. 855-450-3733. Let us know what you think.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have 2 convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Wal-Mart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Wal-Mart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
Have either of you ever seen the movie Dr. Strangelove?
No. I've only heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it, but no.
This is the first time I've ever really heard of it. I think I heard of the name before, but...
Is it Strange Love or Strange Glove?
Strange Love.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never seen it. Apparently, it was a satirical film from 1964 featuring an unhinged general who believes that fluoridation is a communist conspiracy against the United States. So I'm going to have to watch this tonight.
To hit the Pirate Bay.
Well, maybe it's on Netflix. I renewed my Netflix account Friday because the Invader Zim movie came out, and I had to watch it.
Is that one of theirs? Did they make that movie?
Well, they published it, at least. I think it was probably Nickelodeon who still actually did the production.
I see, okay.
But they published it on Netflix.
Yeah, instead of releasing to theaters or whatever,
right.
Which is what I expected. Great movie.
You'll probably get more viewers if you release it on Netflix.
That's true.
These days?
I would really want to watch it now, but evidently she had been... She said she had not been convinced when a graduate student first approached her with the idea to investigate the effects on IQ. So evidently the entire plot of the movie is that the communists have unleashed this plot to make Americans stupid using fluoride in the water.
So wait, this whole thing came from a movie?
No, they've been fluoridating the water since long before that.
No. The idea that makes people stupid.
Well, the idea came from this study, it would seem, or at least.
Well, no, I mean this is a recent study. There have been people saying things about fluoridation for a long time.
Or the conspiracy, rather.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because to prevent tooth decay is a very weak justification for adding a chemical.
It is
in everyone's water. So it would suggest to the layperson that there is some other sort of purpose the fluoride is supposed to serve. Because I just don't find tooth decay to be worth a $60 billion government program or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it to me. They don't do this in Europe. There's fluoride in the water is pretty much unheard of over there, and they don't have rampant tooth decay.
Well, I mean, the UK isn't known for having good teeth.
Well, the UK, it's.
I wasn't going to say that.
British, whatever.
Of course, they also have the government in charge of dental over there too.
Yeah, there is that.
Let's get back into the phones. We got Francine calling. Francine, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi,
Oh, my
hi
Lord.
guys.
Hello.
Hi guys.
What's
Hi.
on your mind?
Oh, I love you guys.
Where are you calling from tonight,
Yes.
Francine?
The Virgin Islands.
Ah, yes. All right. Listening to
Thank you,
WVWI, Radio 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
What's on your mind tonight, Francine?
Oh my goodness. Do you hear that President Trump wants to buy Greenland?
Yeah, I did hear that.
I don't think he knows how this works.
I'm not sure he has enough money for it.
Doesn't Greenland belong to Denmark?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
I think those people in Greenland think he's nuts.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of laughter coming from Denmark and from. I mean, there's almost nobody in Greenland, by the way. It's like 50,000 people, I think, occupy the entire place, and it's. I don't know how much smaller it is than Australia. Apparently, it's like just below Australia. So, like, why is it called an island?
What is he
Well,
up
it's
to?
highly misrepresented on maps because of the spherical shape of the Earth. So they tend to stretch out the longitudinal lines once we get closer to the poles.
Right.
So it's actually pretty small.
Is it?
Is it?
I think Denmark think he's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is.
He is nuts.
He is nuts.
I mean,
He's
this
not
is the wettest
serious.
one we've ever seen from the standpoint of the water.
What do the folks down there in the Virgin Islands think about Trump that you know?
They think he's nuts. but respectfully.
Respectfully nuts.
Because, the U.S. is still controlling everything that we do, interior.
That's
We don't have a
unfortunate.
constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and we're unincorporated, a status quo.
Right.
So we have to be respectful and follow all the rules and regulations. We're still bought and owned.
Is there any movement in the Virgin Islands for secession? I mean, I don't know if that's the right term, but
We need to work on it.
yeah.
Need to work on it. Have a status and a constitution. We've got to get our act together.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you like to see the Virgin Islands get out from underneath the United States and no longer be the U.S. Virgin Islands? Just be the Virgin
Yes,
Islands?
but in a friendly way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, nobody
in a
wants
friendly way.
conflict.
Whereas, you have a little independence, but, we still have partnership.
So what is the status of the Virgin Islands right now?
Unincorporated.
Similar to like Puerto Rico?
Well, Puerto Rico is Commonwealth. So I think they have a little more,
Or
Puerto Rico has their own constitution.
okay.
At least they have their own constitution.
So you
And,
have no.
Commonwealth.
Is it a possession? Is the U.S. Virgin Islands a possession of the United States? Like, I don't know all
We're
the.
all, Puerto Rico and the United States, we are all a possession of the United States. They own us. And
Well,
they
if it helps, they
and
own us
regula-
as well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
Just in a
you
different
know,
way.
I mean, they give you a little leeway, but they still have more control over you.
Yeah.
And they tell you they have the bottom line. They make you think that you're in charge, but you're not in charge.
So what is the feeling there in the Virgin Islands about the United States in general? Is there a generally negative sentiment toward it that it's, simply...
No. It's not negative. It's like you own us, and you're in charge, and we have to do what you say, if whether it's wrong or right, and, just so lay back and acceptive.
So it's just sort of like accepting
over
their...
the damn cliff, we'll go over there.
So it's like the people are just sort of accepting their lot in life that they are owned.
Accept anything.
That's sad.
Which is very annoying.
Yeah.
Very upsetting.
No wonder you like our show.
I love you guys, I'm a rebel.
All right, cool.
I'm saying, oh, God, yes.
Well, what would you say the prospects of beginning a sort of secession movement there in the Virgin Islands would be?
It's good. It's good.
It's good?
We have so much possibilities, but people are just so afraid they accept too much.
Well, that's just true everywhere. I mean, I just want to let you know that it's...
Every time Dick and Harry can come and walk all over you, and you allow it, it's sickening. But the main
that's
reason
true
why I
here
call
in
you
the
guys,
United States in regard to how police interact with us.
Right.
They can just come and do whatever they want.
Yes. Go ahead.
Did you hear about the Wal-Mart?
Which one?
Where everybody was panicking? Some guys came into a Wal-Mart with some guns.
But they weren't...
There were just some...
Are we talking about just some Walmart with guns, or were they shooting people? Was this the...
They had some guns, and then they were very cooperative guys. Came to get maybe some ammunition to do target practice.
Oh, okay.
And everybody panicked.
They freaked out. Yeah.
You hear about that?
No. Where did this happen?
Walmart, someplace in the States with you guys.
Was this the one in Missouri where the guy walked in with a rifle?
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can understand why people would panic. I mean, I could totally understand
That's a horrible way to live.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight. Really appreciate hearing from you.
Good night, guys.
All right, I appreciate that. That's we're live out there in the Virgin Islands.
Very cool.
Covering the entire Virgin Islands.
I understand why people are afraid that somebody would walk into a Walmart with, open arms. I tend to think a better solution would be to have more open arms. So people are more accustomed to it.
Okay, but what we don't know, I mean, given that none of us really were familiar, Michael, it sounds like you heard about the story.
Yeah, there was a story in Missouri.
Was the guy brandishing it?
No, he just had it over his back, and he was just doing his shopping. And apparently, some off-duty firefighter who happened to have a concealed weapon held him at gunpoint till the cops arrived. Yeah.
Wow.
For open,
is Missouri an
open carry state?
As far as I know.
That seems like a critical question.
So,
did he get arrested for anything, or did they just hold him there?
They detained him, but the last I heard, he hadn't been arrested.
Right. I mean, he didn't commit a crime. If it's open carry, then, Walmart can say whether or not they want somebody in their store. But even then, if you go into a store that says no guns allowed, then they tell you to leave. You leave.
You leave, yeah.
If you don't leave,
or you commit
then it's
trespassing, which they will arrest you.
That's if you don't leave.
Yeah.
You have to be ordered to leave by someone authorized to tell you to leave the premises.
And if you don't want guns in your store, I'm probably going to leave anyway because I'm going to think your store isn't safe.
Absolutely.
855-450-3733. That's 855.
We talk Hong Kong coming up. Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk Hong Kong.
We got to talk Hong Kong.
On the way.
Yeah.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,513. Silver is trading at $17.11. And Bitcoin is trading around $10,377. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a New York medical examiner announced Friday that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide by hanging himself in his jail cell. The Mind Unleashed reports the 66-year-old millionaire pedophile was found in his cell on Saturday morning at the Manhattan Metropolitan Correctional Center, after which he was rushed to a nearby hospital and pronounced dead. The ruling comes after the Washington Post revealed that Epstein's autopsy found multiple breaks in his neck bones, commonly found in victims of homicide by strangulation, the hypoid bone near the Adam's apple. The results, however, still don't explain the shrieking reportedly heard from Epstein's jail cell around the time of his death. Meanwhile, an attorney who had visited Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center said Epstein spent at least 2 hours alone in a private room with a young woman, the day after he was reportedly taken off of suicide watch. The private room is reserved for inmates and their attorneys. The attorney said the young woman was in the private room with Epstein for at least 2 hours during his visit to MCC. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Civil liberties groups and privacy advocates raised alarm Thursday after the Trump administration called on Congress to reauthorize an NSA mass surveillance program that was exposed by whistleblower Edward Snowden. The New York Times, which obtained the Trump administration's request to Congress, reported that the administration urged lawmakers to make permanent the legal authority for the National Security Agency to gain access to logs of Americans' domestic communications, the USA Freedom Act. The Mind Unleashed reports the administration claimed in its letter to Congress, which was signed by outgoing National Intelligence Chief Dan Coats, that the NSA has suspended the spying program. But Free Press Action Government Relations Director Sandra Fulton said in a statement that this should give little comfort to those whose privacy rights are routinely violated by authorities. Patrick Toomey, senior staff attorney for the ACLU's National Security Project, urged Congress to ignore the Trump administration's request and let the surveillance program die. As the country increasingly sheds its prohibitionist stereotypes and misconceptions about psychedelic drugs, scientists and psychiatrists are increasingly embracing their potent qualities as game changers in the fight to treat mental health disorders. The Mind Unleashed reports that the new trend unfolding across the U.S. has converted drugs like ketamine, once known primarily as a recreational drug used at raves and underground concerts, into a powerful tool for mental health professionals in the Midwest. Also, a growing body of research has laid out the benefits of psychedelic drugs, such as magic mushrooms. Recent studies have shown how a microdose of psilocybin, far from the level needed for a full-blown trip, actually increases the creativity and empathy for participants. Advocates note that psilocybin has also shown great promise in psychotherapeutic settings. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Sources close to area man Michael Huesmer confirmed this week the unmotivated 29-year-old loser continues to waste his time living a contented life in his hometown near his closest friends and family members and has no intention of leaving. Former classmates told reporters the directionless bum has no ambition to leave his close-knit community for an expensive and stressful life in a big city and is apparently satisfied with remaining a pitiful nobody for the remainder of his unassuming existence.
While most of us with dreams got ourselves dingy apartments and soul-crushing jobs in the city years ago, Michael just stayed behind, happy to live his humdrum existence of regular contact with his parents in a town of people who express genuine appreciation for his presence. Honestly, it's pathetic.
In the time it took you to watch this video, you could have read one of Shakespeare's sonnets, listened to an etude by Chopin, or taken in one of the masterworks from the golden age of Dutch painting. The Onion applauds your excellent taste. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. The toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
And so there's been a lot happening in Hong Kong, none of which, as far as I'm aware, has actually been talked about here on Free Talk Live, which is interesting, but it's probably because there's so much background and so much baggage there. None of us are really experts in how all of this developed. Evidently...
Yeah, all I know is there's a bunch of people in the streets purportedly protesting for democracy.
Waving around American flags.
I heard about that. I presume this has something to do with the Chinese government taking over in the late 1990s and now maybe trying to crack down in some way.
Yeah, this has been 20 years coming.
But I don't know what sparked. What was it that got these people out into the streets initially? That I'm not familiar with.
It was... we covered it on Call to Freedom, what the catalyst of this was, and I'm totally drawing a blank on it now.
The Chinese were, through Hong Kong, the Chinese were pushing a law that would allow the Chinese to extradite anyone to mainland China.
Oh, okay.
So Monday evidently marked 22 years since Britain handed control of Hong Kong to China. And that's what has caused a lot of this, because prior to that, Hong Kong was technically property of the British.
It was a British overseas territory.
Yeah,
that's right.
And it operated, as you would imagine, a British colony would. It was a capitalist, what they call capitalist, city.
Yeah, a powerhouse
on the coast of China.
Yeah, it was one of the most economically free, and still is one of the most economically free places on the planet. And the big fear in the late 90s when the takeover happened, when British gave up, what was it, like a 99-year lease or something like that?
It was 150 years. They went in 1847.
Then when that ended and the Chinese government took back over, there was a big question of, well, is the Chinese government going to impose their way on Hong Kong, or are they going to not touch the goose that's laying golden eggs?
Right.
And...
China at that time was saying that, oh, no, we're not going to make any big changes. Everything's going to be business as usual. But at that time, 95, 96, 97, the UK government was letting pretty much any Hong Konger that wanted one have a British overseas passport so they could get out if things went south.
Interesting. Well, things apparently, from what I understand at least, they haven't done a whole lot to kill the goose that laid the golden egg, because Hong Kong is still the #1 most economically free place, and that's by like more than one different metric. If you look at the Heritage Foundation study, and I think freetheworld.org, which may be Cato now, but either way, there's a few different groups that put these studies together, and Hong Kong's at the top.
Yeah, up until now, China has done very little to upset the cart in Hong Kong.
And when China banned cryptocurrency, they took all of it to Hong Kong, the people in China who were holding cryptocurrency. So good on them for that. Unfortunately, things seem to be changing. That night, that would be Monday night, 22 years since Britain handed control of Hong Kong back to China, a smaller group of protesters ignored pleas from more moderate people and broke in to Hong Kong's legislature, where they spray painted the chambers to hide references to China. They also removed the Chinese flag and replaced it with one featuring a Hong Kong emblem.
Ooh.
Symbolically
These guys are badass.
Now that's the white 5 or 6 sided flower on a red background.
Yeah, except this one was symbolically wilted to represent the eroding of freedoms.
Wow. Now, when was this? Last week?
This was Monday.
Monday as in
night.
today?
Yeah, so that's,
Because it's already Tuesday there,
couldn't have been it's Tuesday there.
I could answer the question. It was July the 3rd.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so last month.
Yeah. So the protest...
That's amazing. I mean, can you imagine the gall of these protesters to break into the legislative building and then commence to vandalize the place and put up to their own flag? That's incredible.
Yeah, this is amazing. Keep going.
So Hong Kong police, well, that's the end of it. Hong Kong police used tear gas to clear them out.
Was that the end of it or the beginning of it?
I mean, if you're protesting, keep going.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
That's what kicked off these protests? Was that?
It was the first act of protest, as I understand it.
Awesome.
While a minority of protesters participated in the break-in, some others expressed a sense of inspiration at their willingness to risk arrest to get their message across.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing about this was inspiring for me.
One protester who spoke to the Post, that would
makes
be
me
the
think
Washington
about the New
Post.
Hampshire State House and all the ugly old flags they've got out there.
Said that generation by generation, people are getting angrier and angrier. As young people, we don't see any hope, which is interesting. It would suggest that there's a lot more happening in Hong Kong that we aren't aware of.
Oh, of course there's a lot happening there we're not aware of.
Well, I mean, they can't be that economically free if, as young people, they're looking around and they're not seeing any hope whatsoever, because it's economic freedom that provides them that hope in the first place.
Well, if they feel like their economic freedom could be cut off at any moment by some officious bureaucrat or politician in China, then that would make it hard to want to get into a business, right?
My understanding is that China actually has done a lot to restrict economic freedom in Hong Kong of the residents. What's happened in the last 20 years is they've done a whole lot to control real estate. So there's becoming less and less space rather for Hong Kong residents to actually live in. A room the size of this studio might house 6 people in Hong Kong.
Wow.
Like this house would
There's
something
a very
the size
high,
of this house might have 20, 25 people living in it.
Yeah, there's a very high concentration of people there because it's not a large landmass.
And
so China's
there are
response
restrictions
to this,
on building.
Yeah, so China's response to this was relatively calm. I mean, they simply released a strongly worded statement saying some extreme elements used excessive violence to storm the legislature building and carried out a series of large-scale assaults.
Assaults on their flag? Because it didn't say anything about anybody getting hurt. It just talked about, spray paint.
If anyone got hurt, it was a result probably of fleeing the tear gas that the police fired at them. This is shocking, heartbreaking, and angering, Beijing said. Their violent...
Beijing speaks. That's amazing. How is it that Beijing can say anything?
That's the way these states work, right? They just declare themselves to be symbols of an entire group of people that doesn't even really exist.
When they say Beijing said, they mean
the government.
Chinese government through their Chinese news agency, which is run by the Chinese government. What is Xinhua, X-I-N-U-A-H or something like that?
Xinhua.
Yeah, I actually saw that they have an English channel now that is up on free-to-air television.
Yeah, so now you can get Chinese state propaganda right on your own satellite.
They went on to say that their violent acts are an extreme challenge to Hong Kong's rule of law and seriously undermine Hong Kong's peace and stability. It is totally intolerable.
Which is totally ridiculous propaganda. I mean, the big threat to Hong Kong's peace and stability right now is China.
Absolutely. Beijing also called their behavior a flagrant challenge.
Yes, surely.
That much is true.
To the one country, two systems policy that has allowed Hong Kong to a certain degree of autonomy for decades.
Right.
Well, okay, that much is not. I mean, it's China that's challenging this policy with soldiers.
I don't know. I would imagine that's the case.
They have,
but it also sounds like the Hong Kong legislature was not exactly screaming the songs of Hong Kong independence here.
True.
But as the Post reported, some are concerned that direct statements from Beijing and others included in state-affiliated media essentially outline instructions from Chinese officials for how Hong Kong should react to the protests. That would be
how the Hong Kong government should react, right? Or
I presume so.
Yeah, it gets really nebulous when they start using these terms because are we talking about the people or are we talking about the government? Because those are two completely different sets of individuals.
Yeah, one is protesting what the other is doing, evidently.
Yeah, and of course we don't know how many people in Hong Kong are welcoming the Chinese government. What are the breakdowns? What do people actually think? Obviously, there's a lot of people in the streets. In fact, there was apparently record numbers there this weekend. So there's more to talk about.
855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. Go Dark Bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkBags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkBags.com/FTL.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Use our toll-free number. That's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
And we've been talking about the things going on with Hong Kong and how it's really coming to a head. But before we get into that, let's get into the phones. We've got Bad Slave on the line. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, thank you very much. I'm on my way over here. Sorry.
Huh?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of chime in real quick on the guy in Missouri, I think it was, at the Wal-Mart.
Okay, you're talking about the guy who walked into a Walmart open carrying a rifle of some sort and caused a panic.
It was, I think, an AK-47 and he had a Glock and he had 100 rounds or 200 rounds of ammo. And it was, I mean, I don't know if you're probably, most people don't know about these checks that they're doing around, where they videotape and they First Amendment and Second Amendment checks where they're seeing if the authorities are actually following the law. And
I don't know what you're referring to there.
Yeah, I've never heard of whatever that is.
Okay, let me say, I know what he's referring to, at least with the First Amendment ones. So people will go into police stations and they will ask questions or whatever. They're trying to ascertain whether these bureaucrats are doing what they're supposed to do whenever asked certain questions or whatever. But I've not heard of a Second Amendment check by going into a private business to see what the police are going to do. I mean, most of the checks...
The private business doesn't have any prohibition for open carrying. So basically, it really doesn't matter where you go.
This seems like a dangerous game to play.
Well, no argument there. Who would I
would have left my AK-47 in the car before going into Walmart.
Just go in with an open, Glock pistol, or whatever, and that would have been plenty.
This reminds me of those guys that you remember a couple of years ago. There were a couple of jackballs that went into a Starbucks with like rifles slung to their backs, and I don't even know if they were slung to their backs or how they were carrying them exactly.
That's just not normal. Okay, I mean.
It should be, though.
If you're in a warm, well, it shouldn't be a problem, but it shouldn't be normal. It's like, why would you want to carry a full rifle
You wouldn't want to carry one of those every day.
Just to look like a tool. That's why. I mean, you just want to stir it up. And there's nothing wrong with, with stirring controversy. I don't disagree with that. But there's a time and a place that's more appropriate. And leaving somebody's private business out of it is more appropriate. Like if you want to do an open carry event, walk down the street with your walk down the street with your rifle slung to your back. Walk into the police department with your rifle slung to your back. There's plenty of government public places where you can have yourself an open carry event and still make your statement. But to go into a private business where people are going to be uncomfortable.
3 days after a mass shooting in a Walmart with a rifle.
Well, and if you do this Second Amendment check, on in the web search, you'll find that it has been going on, but not nearly.
And are they
as
doing
often
them in private businesses?
I think some. Yeah,
that's not a Second Amendment check. That's just a check on whether or not the private business wants you there.
Wasn't the Walmart part of what was shot up?
There was a Walmart that got shot up recently, yeah.
Right.
Businesses, however, are not required to follow the Constitution.
That's correct, which is why it's stupid to call it a Second Amendment check. You're not checking anything about the Second Amendment. You're checking whether or not the business wants you to be making a ruckus, essentially, and turning their business location into a protest location.
But it's not a protest if everybody behaves.
What?
I'm saying if the guy walks in and out and nobody gets excited.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
It isn't a protest. He wasn't protesting. He was just trying to find out what.
I don't think it's fair to say he wasn't protesting because there's still. It took more effort to take the AK-47 into the Walmart because he didn't drive with it strapped
on
his back.
No.
Right.
So he had to intentionally do this, right? And he did it for the reaction.
He actually has, I think he actually had body armor too. But
wow. So
he's trying to set people off, is what he's trying to do. He's a tool.
He had no intention and didn't make any action.
What do you mean he had no intention of what?
To actually, point guns at anyone.
Nobody said that he did.
He just had it on.
I'm just saying he's a jerk.
Congratulations. You had somebody hold a gun on you until the police arrived. You got the reaction you expected.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't get shot.
He actually was leaving, and it was a fireman who used his firearm to hold him there.
Right.
And not allow him to leave, to detain him. And then they charged him with terrorism.
They charged this guy?
Yep.
Which one? The fireman?
The guy that was carrying the
well, that's why I asked for clarification.
I don't think that he needed to be charged. Thank you for the call tonight. Appreciate it. I don't think he needed to be charged with terrorism.
Yeah, I don't think that charge is going to hold up.
That's just being stupid.
But did he? And speculating onto his motives here. The primary reason he would have done this would have been to cause fear among the shoppers at Walmart.
If he didn't realize that that's what was going to happen, then he's an idiot.
Yeah, a complete idiot. But I don't think this guy's a complete. I think he knew what he was doing.
He must have.
It was still not a good decision.
No.
And the AK-47 is probably the worst example to use.
It doesn't matter if he had a shotgun or a long rifle strapped to his back. Any big old gun like that is going to set people off.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked into Walmarts here in New Hampshire open carrying a pistol and nobody said a word.
Right. I've walked into plenty of businesses in New Hampshire open carrying a pistol and nobody has said anything.
This is New Hampshire.
It is New Hampshire, and it's a different place. And
it's very much like Mississippi in that regard.
Open carry isn't legal everywhere, so this isn't something that you can do everywhere. But you're right though. It is. What are people expecting? What are they used to? Open carry isn't unexpected in New Hampshire. It's not something people are not used to unless they're like visiting from Massachusetts. Sometimes they'll call the cops.
They get a little freaked out.
They get a little upset. Sometimes they call the cops and then nothing happens because if the cops show up to a call, like they might show up and then they'll be like, "Hey, that's a pretty cool gun." And they'll ask you questions about your gun not because they care about like
they're not checking their legality or anything. They're
just like honestly interested in cool guns
because it's New Hampshire.
Yeah. And a lot of the cops here are from here, so they kind of grew up with that.
Very cool. That's one thing that's been weird to me is I didn't expect any part of New England to be as on board with guns as places in the South. But there's probably a higher ratio here of people who open carry.
Oh, yeah. I never saw it down south except for cops.
I saw it a lot in Mississippi.
Did you?
But it was shortly after Mississippi passed its constitutional open carry that we began seeing it. Prior to that, no one did.
Right.
What do you think about gun laws? Is the Second Amendment even applicable today? 855-450-3733.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Free Talk Live.
There are certain cultures in the world that when they get up every day, the first thing they say is death to America. I don't know why. That's just how they feel about it.
Why do you think someone would be so angry, so dedicated, that they might be willing to sacrifice their own life to destroy the people of a country that are half a world away? Why do you think that would be?
Well, capitalism and our democratic system is counter to things that they believe in.
Has nothing to do with bombs being dropped on their countries?
Let's look at who started that. Are we supposed to not defend ourselves?
Wow. Do you think the world just
organizing globally to attack us?
Do you think the world started on 9/11? Do you really believe that the United States was the victim in this world conflict?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can talk about whatever is on your mind. Give us a call at 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
So we finally got into Hong Kong and everything that's been going on there, or trying to get into everything.
We got into the beginnings of what was going on
there.
The
background.
Where protesters broke into the legislative building and spray painted over China, basically, as many indications of China that were around. They covered them with black spray paint and then posted up their own Hong Kong flag with a withered flower on it.
Yes. Hardcore, awesome stuff. I'm very happy about it. So the question became, what's China going to do next? Because at that point, all they had done was make a statement. But the protests continued to escalate, as one would imagine, because the Chinese government, although they didn't come in with guns blazing, this was the Extradition Act or whatever, where they were attempting to extradite people from Hong Kong, or creating the legal channels for them to extradite people. And the people of Hong Kong, understandably, didn't like it because of the long list of things that are illegal in China, but aren't illegal in Hong Kong.
No.
Oh, really?
A lengthy list. I mean, they don't even have the Great Firewall in Hong Kong.
No kidding. I didn't realize that. That's pretty handy.
So things move forward a little bit. There doesn't really seem to be that much in this particular article. So let's go to the recent headline making thing where evidently...
This weekend.
Yes, this weekend, 1.7 million people came out in support of Hong Kong freedom.
That's crazy.
For a population of 7-something million, that is overwhelming.
That's more than 20% of the population came out
to protest.
That's
unheard of.
Unbelievable.
During a downpour and a police order not to march from a park where they had gathered earlier. Well, they went ahead and did it. Evidently,
you can't stop them all.
Coming to us from, yes, they can. They did in Tiananmen. They'll do it again.
There were not 1.7 million people
one guy
in
front of that tank.
No, that was one of the final incidents.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, they slaughtered a bunch of college students.
Not this many, though.
No, but I don't put it past them for a minute. Weeks of demonstrations have plunged the financial hub into crisis, with images of masked black-clad protesters engulfed by tear gas during street battles against riot police, stunning a city once renowned for its stability.
Well, now remember the difference between Tiananmen, what was that, 89 or 88 or something like that? 89. The only video cameras around were from news agencies.
Right.
So the fact that there was video of that one guy in front of that tank or a photo or whatever it was, is incredible.
Yeah, they didn't have the same. Well, they didn't have the same level of control then either, because you had all kinds of foreign news agencies there, and they would just send stuff straight out.
But now everybody's got a cell phone on them, and so there's now of the 1.7 million people, I bet you 1.69 of them have cell phones on them.
Certainly.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things to learn about this is how they have been extinguishing tear gas canisters by using those orange traffic cones.
Mm-hmm.
They put it over it.
and then they pour a bottle of water in.
Yes, and it extinguishes the tear gas canister.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is very useful information.
Mental note.
Yeah, right. So Sunday's action...
Just carry one of those around in your car.
There are plenty around here with all the road work. It drew more than 1.7 million people, which again is like 20% of the entire Hong Kong population, making it one of the largest rallies since the protests began about 3 months ago, according to organizers, the Civil Human Rights Front. It's being billed as a return to the peaceful origins of the leaderless protest movement. I don't know what they mean by that.
Well, it sounds good. I mean, a leaderless protest movement is something you want to have, because what the government goons are going to do is they're going to come down on who they perceive to be the leaders of any given movement. I mean, it happened here in Keene, New Hampshire, when we had a much smaller protest of 100 people or so, right. 130 maybe at its peak in downtown Central Square. Who did they go after? The people they considered to be the leaders. If they don't know who the leaders are, you'll frequently see the police show up on a scene and say, "All right, who's in charge here?" And then
we don't know. Everyone is just kind of doing their own thing, man.
Right. And when you come back with that answer of "there's no one in charge," the police don't know what to do.
Right.
Especially if they're outnumbered. They don't know how to handle it.
Well, it's not just police. The average person, when they're looking for an authority, they don't know how to react. I mean, we saw this at Forkfest when somebody came up and was like, hey, who's in charge here? And you said something like, nobody. And
right.
He
this
rolled
was before
his
Rich
eyes.
changed his name. But yeah.
Yeah. He rolled his eyes with no idea how to react.
Well, and it turned out that guy was kind of a commie.
Oh, was it?
He?
Oh.
Wasn't that the guy that was, I'm pretty sure that was the guy who was like advocating some form of socialism throughout the Forkfest.
Oh, you know
His
what?
name was Grok.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah, that was him.
He was a nice guy.
He was.
And I don't want to put words in his mouth. That was just my interpretation of what he was saying.
I talked extensively to him. We interviewed him. No, he backed out of the interview.
He wouldn't interview.
Yeah, that's right. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So anyway, police said, this would be the Hong Kong police presumably, that the protest reached about 128,000 people, which seems to be a pretty severe...
It's a big discrepancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course they'll want to downplay that because the Hong Kong police, as I understand it, are pretty much in the pocket of the Chinese government.
Sure.
Well, yeah, they're the ones who cut them their paychecks. But protests, they've morphed into a broader call, not just for, a maintenance of their independence, but actively advocating for freedom, liberty, and what they're characterizing as democratic rights.
Mm-hmm.
Anger has been sharpened among protesters by the heavy-handedness of the police, who have used tear gas, baton charges, and rubber bullets in incidents that have gained wide attention on social media.
Yeah, they launched a rubber bullet at this one girl, put her eye out. She was. So what protesters did is they wore eye patches
to protect themselves.
No, to
protest,
to draw attention to the fact that.
Okay.
Well, good on them. They're not the only ones, however, who are using social media to paint this one particular way or the other. Facebook and Twitter have both deleted dozens, Twitter nearly 1,000 accounts believed to be, well, they were controlled by people in mainland China, which of course has banned Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, so Twitter's actually coming down in favor of the protesters?
It would seem so. They've said that the Chinese government is using state actors to manipulate public opinion using social media, like Facebook and Twitter.
They would never do that.
To paint the protesters as violent and unruly. They compared them to ISIS in one image.
Wow.
Yeah. They're saying, they're disruptive. And I mean, that's true. Protests are by definition disruptive.
But if you've got 100,000,
they shut down the airport for 2 days.
Yeah, if you've got 100,000 or more people in the streets, there's no car that's going to get through there.
So this just came today. Facebook and Twitter discovered and took down networks of accounts that had originated in mainland China, where both social networks are blocked. Which is
they're not blocked for state actors who are performing disinformation campaigns.
Right.
Exactly. The accounts had posted that Hong Kong protesters were acting violently and accused them of ulterior motives. One Facebook post likened the protesters to ISIS fighters.
Wow.
They say it's an escalation of the global disinformation wars. In 2015 and 2016, Russia pioneered a disinformation playbook when it used Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media services to disseminate inflammatory messages intended to divide Americans in the 2016 presidential election. All of that is completely unsubstantiated rumor, as I understand it, and there has still been no evidence that Russia, in fact, did this. Since then, many other countries, including Bangladesh, Iran, and Venezuela, have also turned to Facebook and Twitter to sow discord at home and abroad. China, however, had been less visible doing it until
now.
Yeah, until these protests.
Yeah, they haven't had a reason because they've got the mainland China. They've got the disinformation there under total control.
Sure.
Yeah, they control everything that goes into the minds.
They have to
Chinese
attack
people.
the men. They can't attack the message.
Right.
Right. Oh, these people are violent. Don't listen to them.
And it seems to be working. because the people of China aren't any closer.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Wal-Mart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves. 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
Hey, it's Ian.
And Michael.
And we've been discussing Hong Kong and China and developments there. Evidently, this weekend saw a outpour of 1.7 million people, more than 20% of the population of Hong Kong, coming out in protest against the Chinese government and in favor of what they're calling democracy. I'm not a big fan of democracy, but it's got to be better than what the Chinese government is doing.
Well, these protesters are holding up American flags and signs that say things like, "We need the Second Amendment."
Wow.
Yeah.
The story I've got here from AFP that you started earlier says late in the evening, this was Sunday, hundreds of masked protesters briefly gathered outside the government headquarters shouting, "Reclaim Hong Kong, revolution of our times," before dispersing. State media has run images of military personnel and armored personnel carriers across the border in Shenzhen, prompting the United States to warn Beijing against sending in troops. Analysts say any intervention by Chinese security forces would be a disaster for China's reputation and economy.
I don't think China cares, and I don't think they have to care. They're the economic powerhouse of the world.
Yeah, this is true. China has built up their mainland economy to the point where they don't really need Hong Kong to be special anymore.
Well, I mean, whether they do need that or not, they don't need public opinion. They don't need the worldwide opinion. The United States government can't stop trading with China. Neither can the European Union or Russia or Australia or any other nation that is buying 60 to 70% of its goods from China.
No, not yet.
Let's get into the phones. We've got Lenny calling from Fort Smith. Lenny, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, how you guys doing tonight?
Hey, Lenny. Good.
What's on your mind?
Well, right before the break, I guess the last break, the flash question was, about the Second Amendment being outdated, our opinion on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, the whole reason it was written, the whole reason it was written makes it never, outdatable, because it was to protect us from our own government, right? A tyrannous government. So just in that alone, it can never be outdated, because who's to say when the tyrannous or tyrannous, however the pronunciation is, of the government is in too much for the average Joe to, handle anymore and rise up against the government or whatever. Isn't that the whole reason it was written?
Yes, it was.
Absolutely.
That's my understanding.
Now, my question would be, because of how the federal government has, stomped on it throughout the last 250 years, do you believe that you are still capable of armed revolt in the event that it were to come to that against the United States government, or have they already imposed so many restrictions and regulations that such a revolution would be short-lived?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have a little insight on that, a little different than the average person. I did 28 rotations overseas in a Tier 1 direct action unit, okay? We had our little thing we called a HRT bar and grill. All it was some Hescos set up and our little lawn chairs in a little circle after work, before work, however you want to put it. We just kind of sat around and shot the crap, because there's nothing else to do over there, right? So
okay.
We've talked about that a million times, and I do believe that I'm not the only one with my background. You would be surprised the majority of people with a special operations background that have worked so hard, stay in the shadows, not do much, not say much, but when you start pushing on us directly, you would be surprised of the college graduate kid who just graduated FLETC with his federal badge would have a rude awakening to come get me and my brother's weapons, because we won't be on the side that a lot of people think we would be on.
That's interesting, because I've heard...
That's good to hear.
I've heard the opposite from a lot of former soldiers who... I had one former soldier tell me directly to my face that if he was given the order to shoot me, he would obey it without hesitation.
No, was this a special operations,
I'll bet a paycheck. Exactly. I was going to say, I bet you a paycheck he was dress right, dress military, and not a free thinker.
I don't recall. Isn't the whole goal of boot camp and the military training in general, though, to inhibit free thinking? I'm sure some slip through the cracks, but isn't that
right.
what
and
they...
Again, you have what you call you have the dress right, dress military, the by the book, tie and tights, uniform pressed. And then you have the guys that are, want a little more out of it, can think outside the box. And actually the special operations world encourages free thinking. As a matter of fact, part of OTC is thinking out of the box. Can you make creative decisions under stress? Are you creative to get out of a certain situation? What can you do with this very small footprint versus what the conventional, standard in the box thinker has to take 50 men to do? Well, there's a night and day difference in the two types of quote unquote soldiers that
I mean, the kind of missions you're going on, you can't follow the book because there is no book.
And I've heard from police, at least here in New Hampshire, who have said they would not enforce a gun confiscation, that they would not participate.
No, I in a wholehearted, in the little community I live in, same thing. The local law enforcement guys, they totally support, Constitution. Arkansas is a constitutional carry state, by the way. They support it. It's not like they're trying to gun grab. That's more of a federal level. And actually, to be honest with you, I've never seen a quote unquote federal agent interested in gun grabbing. It seems to always be the politicians, the talking heads.
Well, okay, so I have seen some video, and it was pretty scary stuff. It was actually during the cleanup after Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans. Now, I realize this was more than a decade ago, but it's still relevant because there were California Highway Patrol, which of course it's California, so of course you'd expect this out of them.
Yeah.
But not just California Highway Patrol. It was also, I believe it was National Guardsmen, if I recall correctly. But it was a federal force of some sort that was in there, and they were literally going door to door, demanding people hand over their guns. There's a video where ABC News interviews one of these young men, probably no older than 19, and asks him if he would take guns asks him if he would shoot an American, and he said if he had to, he would absolutely, shoot an American. And the suggestion was that if the American wasn't doing what they were told, right, handing over guns, that they would be either shot or subdued. And there was actual video of the California Highway Patrolmen going into an old woman's home and basically tackling her to try to get a pistol from her, which was just
and that was
shocking.
all during a drill, was it
not?
No,
this was not a drill. This was
Katrina.
This was Hurricane Katrina.
Why would the California Highway Patrol be involved in Katrina?
They were called in.
They need people, so they went out.
They called in warm bodies from all over the country.
Hey, boys, come on out. Here's a chance to take people's guns.
Well, I mean, that's the danger of the FEMA Act and acts like it, is that they allow the president or the governor to say, hey, this is
the rules.
Yeah, this is a state of emergency, so the rules no longer apply, and we're going to take your guns and round you up and put you in these trailers that you can't escape from. And, oh, by the way, we're going to put razor wire around them, and if you just so happen to die, oops.
And then they sent bottled water to Maine. So,
Again, let's go full circle, though. The type of quote-unquote soldiers you guys are talking about, no ding on the National Guard or the state, the National Guard or guys like that. But those guys are dress, low-trained soldiers. Those guys aren't the tip of the spear. Those guys are still thinking inside the box.
But there are more of those, and those will be the ones they send at us.
Well, either way, it's still nice to hear your opinions on this, and I definitely appreciate it.
It is. Thank you so much for the call, Lenny. I'm always happy to hear from soldiers who are like, we are supposed to think for ourselves, because there's historical precedence that, basically says I was only following orders is not a reasonable defense. That's essentially the Nuremberg defense, and it hasn't ever been valid, but that's essentially what these soldiers who would confiscate people's guns and who would shoot American citizens are saying they would do.
Yep.
I would just follow the orders I was given, regardless of the legality of those orders. That's a tough situation because generals don't want their privates out there going, I don't know if I should actually listen to the general. I don't think he knows what he's talking about, so I'm not going to obey this command. For the whole military thing, that's bad, right? Which is why, as I understood it, part of the entire military training apparatus was meant to train that out of people. But I don't know. I didn't serve. I've never been in the military and have,
thank goodness,
no intention whatsoever of being in the military.
There was a brief time in my life where I considered it, and I'm glad I didn't go that direction.
I considered it at one point when things were really bad, being from Mississippi, trying to go to college and all that. I was like, well, they're promising me a college education. I was like, but I'm resourceful. I can do this without dying in the Middle East.
So what's coming up next?
Coming up next, we have Planned Parenthood. Always a hot topic for people, but get this, they have rejected federal funds because of all of these strings attached to them. Yes, it's awesome. Go Planned Parenthood. We'll be back with that story in just a moment.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money. Quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,513. Silver is trading at $17.11. And Bitcoin is trading around $10,377. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a New York medical examiner announced Friday that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide by hanging himself in his jail cell. The Mind Unleashed reports the 66-year-old millionaire pedophile was found in his cell on Saturday morning at the Manhattan Metropolitan Correctional Center, after which he was rushed to a nearby hospital and pronounced dead. The ruling comes after the Washington Post revealed that Epstein's autopsy found multiple breaks in his neck bones, commonly found in victims of homicide by strangulation, the hypoid bone near the Adam's apple. The results, however, still don't explain the shrieking reportedly heard from Epstein's jail cell around the time of his death. Meanwhile, an attorney who had visited Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center said Epstein spent at least 2 hours alone in a private room with a young woman, the day after he was reportedly taken off of suicide watch. The private room is reserved for inmates and their attorneys. The attorney said the young woman was in the private room with Epstein for at least 2 hours during his visit to MCC. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Civil liberties groups and privacy advocates raised alarm Thursday after the Trump administration called on Congress to reauthorize an NSA mass surveillance program that was exposed by whistleblower Edward Snowden. The New York Times, which obtained the Trump administration's request to Congress, reported that the administration urged lawmakers to make permanent the legal authority for the National Security Agency to gain access to logs of Americans' domestic communications, the USA Freedom Act. The Mind Unleashed reports the administration claimed in its letter to Congress, which was signed by outgoing National Intelligence Chief Dan Coats, that the NSA has suspended the spying program. But Free Press Action Government Relations Director Sandra Fulton said in a statement that this should give little comfort to those whose privacy rights are routinely violated by authorities. Patrick Toomey, senior staff attorney for the ACLU's National Security Project, urged Congress to ignore the Trump administration's request and let the surveillance program die. As the country increasingly sheds its prohibitionist stereotypes and misconceptions about psychedelic drugs, scientists and psychiatrists are increasingly embracing their potent qualities as game changers in the fight to treat mental health disorders. The Mind Unleashed reports that the new trend unfolding across the U.S. has converted drugs like ketamine, once known primarily as a recreational drug used at raves and underground concerts, into a powerful tool for mental health professionals in the Midwest. Also, a growing body of research has laid out the benefits of psychedelic drugs such as magic mushrooms. Recent studies have shown how a microdose of psilocybin, far from the level needed for a full-blown trip, actually increases the creativity and empathy for participants. Advocates note that psilocybin has also shown great promise in psychotherapeutic settings. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Geneticists gathered at a conference this week to debate the ethics of cloning human beings and compelling them to fight to the death in a rock-filled pit for our amusement. Experts at the conference reportedly discussed questions key to the scientific field, such as the morality of arming hundreds of clones with maces and pitting them against each other on a small platform surrounded by molten lava.
Cloning humans and goading them into viciously battling certainly raises ethical questions. It's important that we consider this topic with an open mind. Whether or not we should be stranding clones on a desert island, assigning them weapons by a lottery system, and making them murder one another tournament style remains a matter up for debate.
And in this week's local news, a man is wearing a low-cut swimsuit as though a public pool is some kind of sun-kissed Sardinian cove. In other news, China's veteran reporters blast the decline of traditional state-run journalism. A new study finds human hearing is most acute when listening to arguing parents from the top of the stairs, and fireflies almost manage to salvage a local man's day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
And Planned Parenthood. I love Planned Parenthood. They do a lot of services beyond just abortion. Abortion is what they're known for.
Yeah, I've had STD testing gone on there.
I've had that as well.
Yeah.
They're who I go to for my trans hormones, which obviously the same people who are anti-abortion are also not fans of that. So that doesn't do anything to endear them to Planned Parenthood, but they do quite a bit more. They offer free condoms, free birth control, and all manner of things. It's a sexual and reproductive health clinic.
Right. It's almost like they're trying to help people plan their parenthood.
You think?
And avoid STDs and all kinds of other good things. Like I've never had a bad experience with those people.
Absolutely not. They are the friendliest health workers I've ever met. I ran out of estradiol this past week because normally I can call or I can just go there and, but this time I was like, I'm just going to call and schedule an appointment like normal. I just happened to be out at the time. It wasn't a big deal. I had just taken some. I was like, they'll get me in tomorrow, be in and out. It'll take 10 minutes. But they actually were booked until the 26th. It didn't matter.
Okay.
They went ahead and sent them to the pharmacy for me. The whole encounter took like 5 minutes tops.
On the phone?
Yeah.
On the phone. That's nice.
So you didn't even have to go in?
No. I'll have to go in on the 26th.
I see.
But, I mean, for something like that, I mean, it's not a controlled substance or anything like that. But yeah, I got the refill, and it's just amazing to encounter that versus my general experience with doctors, which is an extreme unwillingness to write these in the first place, even if I can prove I've been on them for a while, which I can, or they just want to prescribe me painkillers, which is less of an issue here in New Hampshire, but a significant issue in the South.
What on earth would they even prescribe you painkillers for, though?
Well, at the time, I wanted the painkillers. So I mean, there was literally a doctor who would sit down and ask you what you wanted and then write you those. You don't get those at the Planned Parenthood clinics. My experience with them has always been that they treat me as a human being, and they're actually concerned about my health and well-being. They have pamphlets about domestic abuse, pointing out that it occurs not just against men, against women, but also against
men.
Yeah,
good for them.
So it's a really the first time I ever encountered a 9/11 conspiracy theory, in fact, was at a Planned Parenthood.
Really?
They had like a 117-page booklet out there about various interesting facets of September 11th that I just sat down and started reading it.
Wow.
They also had one that went over the history of Israel and Palestine and all of that. It was very counter-official narrative type stuff that I found there. And this was in the Deep South, right? So it was a pleasant experience. That was Little Rock, Arkansas, actually.
Yeah, I didn't have any experience with them until I moved here. And here they've got a nice convenient location downtown. And,
they do.
Like you said, normally when you go in there, for me it's always been STD related, just getting tests done and that kind of thing. And they are super friendly. I mean, they're obviously afraid of crazy protesters, so like you got to buzz yourself to get in. That's not because they're not friendly, but it's because of, the people who are against the place.
I guess they buzz me in as I'm on my way because I've never had to buzz myself in. But when they see me, it's pretty obvious I'm not a protester.
Right. Yeah. And so, I've always had a good experience. And then, like, when you go to pay, they obviously have some tie-ins with the government. They do get some government funding for things I think from the state level as well, because I remember one time they told me about some sort of New Hampshire program that covers this or that. And they basically, one of the ways they do payment for those that aren't like covered by whatever program is you can kind of pay based on your income, essentially. And that's, I'm fine with that. That's no big deal. Yeah. I don't mind giving money to an organization providing a valuable service. But at the same time, I do understand why some people are against Planned Parenthood, because they are getting money from the state. And if you are against abortion or against, trans people or whatever it is you might be against, then it makes sense that you would be against the state giving money to this particular organization. So those people aren't wrong when they oppose the state giving them money.
I'm not a fan of the government, using my tax dollars to pay for bombs.
Exactly.
So I understand why they're, upset about their tax dollars being used for various purposes.
But you've got news about this.
I do indeed. So they said today that Planned Parenthood is going to withdraw from the federal family planning program that provides birth control and other health services to poor women, rather than comply with a new Trump administration rule that forbids referrals to doctors who can perform abortions.
Excellent. That's the right choice to make.
It is a beautiful choice, and I'm super thrilled. I expect donations to Planned Parenthood to increase as a result of this.
Right, because now you're not underneath the federal government's thumb anymore.
Yep.
If you're not taking their money, you're not as beholden to whatever strings that are attached to those money. This is the same reason why the state of New Hampshire won't take money from the federal government and therefore have to implement a seatbelt law. That's why New Hampshire is the only state of all the 50 states that doesn't have an adult seatbelt law, is because
they refuse helmet law.
Right, because they refuse the money from the federal government because it comes with those strings. Now, if only they did it more often, then we'd be even more free. as a result of that. But this is the right direction to go in, and they should promote this to their flock, to their existing donators, and say, hey, look, we're not taking this federal money now, so we do still need the money to provide the free. 'Cause I'm sure they want to continue providing the free contraception.
I'm sure,
right?
Yeah.
So somebody's got to pay for it.
Yep. And what we learned in 2016 during the election, when Pence came out against Planned Parenthood, lots of people donated money to Planned Parenthood in Mike Pence's name, but they did increase their donations as a result of, we're going to pull funding from Planned Parenthood. Oh, well, that's okay because, I would rather pay for the service voluntarily, which is interesting. I mean, you mentioned the whole payment thing. They have never accepted money from me.
Mm-hmm.
I've attempted to pay them repeatedly, but like, oh, we'll just send you a bill. And of course, because the mail carriers here like to screw with me, I've never received any such bill. I don't receive most of the mail I'm supposed to get.
That's weird.
It's very weird. If it's important, the mail carrier is not going to deliver it to me.
Here?
Yes.
Huh. I've never had that problem.
If it's an ad for Market Basket, they'll deliver it. But if it's, a bill, a debit card, a bank statement, whatever, it's getting returned to sender every single time.
The junk mail comes through, though.
Have you talked to the postal carrier manager?
I've talked to one of them.
Postmaster General?
I went to the post office and spoke with them. I was like, look, they were like, oh, well, you got to have your name on the little piece of paper in the mailbox. I was like, it's there.
Yeah. Okay.
I've already done that. Just
Are
deliver.
we talking about Aria DeMezzo or your other name?
Both names are on there because some mail comes for Aria DeMezzo and some comes from the other name. So both names are on there. I covered that base immediately. I was like, just stop paying attention to the freaking names.
Yeah.
Just deliver whatever mail is supposed to be sent to this stupid address. What is complicated about this, right? It has improved.
Okay.
Only one of the 4 debit cards that I was supposed to receive this month was returned to sender. 3 of them actually arrived. So that's
progress.
Yes, it is progress.
Do you think somebody at the post office doesn't like you?
That would be my guess.
Is it something personal? Or is this happening because you guys both live in the same house? Is it happening to you as well, Michael?
I hardly ever get mail there anyway, but everything I have had sent there has come through.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Screw them. I have, for the most part, found ways around them. Bills just get emailed to me now, for the most part. It does become problematic when I need like a debit card or something because there's really no other way to receive that. The UPS and FedEx aren't going to deliver something so inconsequential.
Right. So do you think that with this news about Planned Parenthood, that are people going to keep protesting them now?
That's a good question.
Just the fact that they exist? Is that what they're going to protest? Because abortion bad?
The only time I ever saw a protest at a Planned Parenthood was in Little Rock, Arkansas, though.
I've seen one here.
Really?
It's only one woman. She stands out there all alone.
Is that
with
really a protest?
Sure.
Sure it is.
There's more about this news because it's $60 million that Planned Parenthood has said no to.
Nice.
And that's an awesome thing. 855-450-3733. Tell us what you think about Planned Parenthood.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
Have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office when you would rather have done something else? Have you ever felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey,
who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
So Planned Parenthood evidently receives about $60 million annually through the federal program known as Title X, or Title 10. It's unclear. I assume X. The funds have enabled the group to provide more than 1.5 million low-income women each year with services like birth control and pregnancy tests, as well as screenings for sexually transmitted diseases and breast and cervical cancer. In some rural communities, Planned Parenthood is the only provider of such services. I don't know what rural communities they're referring to. Being from a pretty rural place in Mississippi, there was a one actually run by the county. I don't remember now what it was called. But it performed exactly those services. That was actually where my wife at the time went to get her birth control and her screenings for breast and cervical cancer. But evidently, in states like Utah, where Planned Parenthood is the only organization receiving Title X funds, and Minnesota, where Planned Parenthood serves 90% of the Title X patients, those seeking care may face long waits for appointments, Planned Parenthood said, while other patients may delay care or go without. That's unfortunate. So if there was ever a time for the people who support Planned Parenthood to step up and begin making donations, it seems like now would be that time.
Yeah. Now, if you actually support Planned Parenthood, now's the time to open the wallet. If you don't, then, well, you know.
The bad news is, at least according to Wikipedia's article about Planned Parenthood, it says here their combined annual revenue is $1.3 billion U.S.,
Wow.
And that includes approximately $530 million in government funding, such as Medicaid reimbursements. So the $60 million that we're talking about here is a drop in the bucket of their entire budget, but also a small fraction, a fraction of their governmental disbursements.
Well, the thing about government money is that when they give it to you, it's with strings attached. You have to use it for certain purposes.
Yeah, and the strings being attached here was that people who received the Title X money could not receive abortion referrals and things like that. So if you went to your regular gynecologist or whoever does these OBGYN, whatever, and they're like, hey, you're not going to be able to have this baby because of reason why you need to go have it aborted or you're going to die or the baby's going to die or whatever, here's a referral to Planned Parenthood. That would have been a violation of the new regulations by the Trump administration.
Now that was the new. What were they doing with this money before?
Providing birth control and things and pregnancy tests.
Okay.
And screenings for STIs and breast and cervical cancer.
Okay, so just the usual stuff.
It probably doesn't matter to them when they receive $60 million. They probably don't earmark out, okay, well, this $60 million can only be spent on these services or whatever. They just spend the money as they would need it, I would imagine. I don't know. I've never run a billion-dollar organization, especially one that gets protested so frequently.
Yeah, and it's not clear what, at least through my brief research here, it's not clear what percentage of the 500+ million that they're receiving from various government programs is going to, say, Medicaid payments or whatever. But, most people aren't going to go out and protest a doctor's office for taking Medicaid payments.
That's true.
Right?
It's the abortion service that people are protesting.
It's abortion. That's what it is.
I've had the pleasure of dealing with some abortion protesters while escorting someone to have an abortion at the Planned Parenthood in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a fun experience. It was so tense. It was like 7:30 in the morning.
How many protesters were there?
5, I think. Mm-hmm. There was a Catholic church literally right across the street, and they were all there as part of that church.
Ah, okay.
They were shouting their random nonsense about how the girls were going to regret it and all of that, holding their signs. And it was so tense and anxious. Everyone was uncomfortable until I turned around and shouted something to them about their God not existing, so it didn't matter what he thought. And even though I was standing there, because I'm a really calm person, but when I've got people standing there shouting at me, it's just a matter of time before I shout back.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And standing there with this group of people who were all Christians, right? And who all...
Wait, Catholics or Christians?
Christian.
Okay.
They were
Catholics.
This was Arkansas.
Okay.
They were almost certainly some sort of Christian. I'm talking about the girls who were waiting for the building to open so they could go in to get their services, right?
Oh, you're saying those girls were the Christians?
Yes.
But it was the Catholics who were out front protesting?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
So standing there with this group of Christians, essentially just shouting that there wasn't a God, they all began laughing. The girls waiting on, their services.
Like an uncomfortable kind of laughter?
No, it was a happy kind of laughter because shouting something back at these people broke their power. It broke all of that oppressive tension that they had been creating. And suddenly everybody just started sparking up their own conversations. It was no longer awkward and uncomfortable.
Oh, that's good.
So they were doing nothing to help the situation by standing out there shouting anyway, right?
Right.
They did go away shortly after that, once they realized that we were just ignoring them and not being berated by their random screeching.
Well, they want to make people feel like they're being looked down upon. They want to shame.
Yeah.
They want to change behavior through societal pressure.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. The pressure isn't there unless we allow it to be there. There are ways of breaking that pressure, like shouting back. Mm-hmm. I suppose counter-protesting is essentially what I did. So maybe counter-protesting is a valid approach.
Yeah, sounds like it worked for you.
Yeah. Well, it worked for them. I was just there. But the group's decision, that would be Planned Parenthood, to stop accepting this money is being cheered by anti-abortion groups.
Good.
That have long sought to deprive Planned Parenthood of federal support. It's a long-awaited victory that will energize the pro-life grassroots, said, the president of the March for Life, whatever that is. I assume it's some pro-life group.
Yeah, it's an anti-abortion group.
Wait a minute. That's a twist to call it a victory.
Yeah, it's like 9% of their federal funding.
Well, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is these groups, these anti-abortion groups, they weren't the ones that made this happen. It was the decision of Planned Parenthood who said, we don't want to deal with this government crap anymore to accept this money, so we're just going to say no to it. So it's not like the anti-abortionists should be cheering what they've done, because they didn't make that decision, and it wasn't they who were an influence in making that decision.
I don't know.
They're saying we have a victory here, even though they didn't do anything to achieve a victory.
But the
That's
pro-life
a hollow
people,
victory at best. Go ahead, sorry.
The pro-life people would be the reason that those strings were attached to the Planned Parenthood funding, would they not?
Yeah, it could be.
And it was those strings being attached that caused Planned Parenthood to say, okay, so maybe, I don't believe that was their plan, but maybe it was just a matter of, okay, we'll attach so many strings to this that eventually they just don't want to deal with it anymore.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
I'm fine with it not being funded by the federal government. Even though I use Planned Parenthood, I'm fine paying out of pocket. They don't let me, but I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with them subsisting solely off of private donations. I don't see why that's such a...
It works for me.
If you like the service, pay for it. Right. Don't put a gun to your neighbor's head and have them pay for it. I wish Planned Parenthood agreed with that ideologically.
No.
They don't. 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Let us know what you think about Planned Parenthood finally telling the federal government, no, we don't want your dirty money.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night.
from there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Give us a call at 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Ian,
and Michael.
And Ian, you just brought in an interesting story about everyone's most hated billionaire pedophile-ish kind of guy. I don't know what the term is. I'm told he's not technically a pedophile.
Pedophile's somebody who is physically or attracted to children, prepubescent children.
Okay.
Most of the evidence about this guy was that he was attracted to teenagers, although apparently recently there was something that came out about some 12-year-olds.
Yeah, but that is unsubstantiated. It does seem that he averaged on the 16 to 17-year-olds side of things.
I heard as low as 14 in many cases in Florida, but whatever. Regardless, that's not pedophilia. Doesn't make him a good guy. It doesn't mean that he was a nice guy or anything like that.
And in addition to that, he was, if allegations against him are correct, he was also an actual rapist who actually committed rape. And I'm not talking statutory rape here. I'm talking actual rape.
That's the allegation by one, I think, young woman who said that she had gone there multiple times to his house and performed massages on him, and that eventually that he asked her to go further, and she attempted to refuse and was then held down and raped against her will. That was the claim.
Traumatic.
But then again, when you deal with these claims, there's very rarely any actual evidence. Right.
Unless, how could there be?
Well, there could be. If you get raped and then there's evidence left inside of you, you then go to the hospital and they can take that evidence, right? But
that's true.
If you don't do something right away, then the evidence
is gone.
Goes away.
Yeah.
Over time.
And recently, he died.
Allegedly.
Well, that's right.
The conspiracy people are already cooking up plots that he's been ferreted out to his own island and all kinds of stuff.
See, I went for the least conspiratorial take on it that I could, which is, okay, he's dead. Maybe he committed suicide. Maybe he was murdered. At any rate, he's dead. But even that is in dispute.
Well, given the fact that he apparently signed his will 2 days before he was found dead, this is one of the stories that's come out recently. I mean, that definitely points to him intending to kill himself.
Yeah, that's some evidence right there.
But of course, the conspiracy people will say that it's all part of the plot.
I guess so. Evidently, just 2 days before he killed himself, allegedly, in his Manhattan jail cell, leaving behind nearly $600 million, he signed his will. The court document filed in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where the convicted sex molester, that's a very weird phrasing.
This is the UK, right? Where's the source on this?
This is from the New York Post.
Oh, New York Post, okay.
It's from the article you just sent me. He owned 2 islands, including one that locals dubbed Pedophile Island. So this was not exactly... It was an elephant in the room that nobody was addressing.
Yeah, from what I understand, pretty much everybody in the Virgin Islands knew this was going on.
And so did all of the people at the apartment in Florida and the one in Manhattan. I mean, you can't hide something like this. If you're regularly flying out 14-year-old girls to your private island to have sex with them, people are going to notice.
Yeah. And they're not going to do anything about it because he's got money.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
If he pays them to shut up, then then yeah, that's about the only thing you can do.
Well, and he apparently bragged quite a bit about all the the benefits that having a bunch of money brought to him, and that's where this story comes from the Miami Herald headline. And the Herald has been doing some of the best investigative journalism about Epstein.
They were the ones who first got him in trouble, correct?
That may be the case.
Way back in 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, they've got some really detailed stories about him where they really did a lot of good journalism. But headline, why was Jeffrey Epstein allowed to purchase small women's panties from the Palm Beach jail? And I saw this over the weekend. I thought, we've got to talk about this.
So
this is now what's happening is all the craziest stuff is coming out about this guy because a lot of documents have been released that haven't been released before. In fact, he ended up killing himself on the very same day that the documents, as I understand it, the documents were actually released from the court. That 2,000 pages of documents that were, I think they were sealed in a civil case that was brought against him. Those are now out.
Yeah, that sounds right. Those are now out.
It certainly suggests that we're going to learn just how sick and depraved this individual actually was.
Well, I mean, if the fact that, and how powerful and influential he was, right? Because I've been in jail before for civil disobedience, and I'm pretty sure that I couldn't talk to anybody and get them to give me anything off the women's commissary. It wouldn't have even crossed my mind, of course, to ask for it. But, that just doesn't happen. You don't get the order book if you're a male, inmate. You don't get the panties section in your order sheet, right? Decade ago, this was when he was doing his jail stint down in Florida.
So this was almost 3 decades ago.
No, it's a decade ago.
I thought he was in 1991 or something.
It's like 2006, 2007?
This was in the aughts. Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein made an odd purchase at the facility store. 2 pairs of small women's panties, size 5. Now, I don't know anything about women's sizing, Aria, but I suspect you do.
I wear a size 5.
Okay. All right. You're not a very big person. I mean, you're tallish, but you're not...
I'm skinny.
You're not overweight.
Right.
Yeah. So size 5, according to this here, it was just one of thousands of dollars of purchases made by the disgraced financier while in jail after pleading guilty in 2008 to soliciting a minor for sex, according to his purchase log. His top purchase was a single-serve cups of coffee, of which he bought more than 800 in 13 months. But the panties raise questions about why a childless male inmate accused of sexually abusing girls as young as 14 would be allowed to buy female undergarments so small that they wouldn't fit an average-sized adult woman. The panties were certainly too small for Epstein, who also purchased his briefs in men's medium and sweatshirts ranging from XL to 3XL and size 12 shoes.
That is the best I've ever heard in my life. The best. Can you just imagine the journalists as they sat down to write that statement?
So what?
The size 5 panties would not have fit the 66-year-old pedophile billionaire.
Right. So what or who were they for?
Maybe he liked them tight.
And so
not like that.
And why wouldn't the purchase raise eyebrows under the circumstances? Further, how could it have even been made in the first place? But it's one of the many questions that arise from thousands of pages of records obtained by the Miami Herald from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. So this isn't even the court documents that came out. This is just, they did a Freedom of Information request asking the Palm Beach bureaucrats for all the info they had about this man's stay in jail.
Now, the jail records.
I would imagine it's not terribly unlikely that if you were just in any jail and you asked the guards to sell you a pair of panties out at the women's commissary, I imagine most of them would do it. It wouldn't do much for your reputation among the other inmates.
Well, I don't know how they, it sounds to me like they actually had inventory, because it says here the stockade held male and female inmates separately, explaining why the panties were stocked. Because a lot of times with commissary, at least here in New Hampshire, you place an order and they get it from a company. So it's not like they've got an inventory of panties just sitting in some room somewhere necessarily. They're placing an order. It takes a week in a lot of cases to get stuff from commissary. So there's some corporation that the jail gets a contract with, and then they place orders with the corporation. So in order to get a pair of panties, somebody would have to place that order, and there would be an accountability for it. There's a record of that. So
I just don't think it's unlikely that a man in any jail could order a pair of panties.
Oh, I think it's quite unusual. I think that would be difficult.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you're in jail, give it a try and let us know what
We got some
happens.
guys in prison in Michigan. Let us know how it goes.
Don't let the other inmates know about this.
Oh, that's the other thing. The word will spread fast too, right?
Which is why I would imagine that most people don't do it.
That's probably one reason.
Are you a man who wears panties? 855-450-3733.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and if you're quick, you can still get in on the air with us. Give us a call at 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Ian.
And Michael.
And Ian, who is amping the show tonight.
I want to say thanks to Nick. That's N-I-K Nick, who is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier. And that means that Nick is contributing $5 a month to the AMP program. And AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is that you can help us get this program on more radio stations around the country and bring new listeners on board online as well, exposing new people to the ideas of freedom, which we love talking about here because we're on live all 7 nights a week. So thank you to Nick, and thank you to everybody else who currently amps the show and everybody who has amped the show in the past. But if you would love to come back or join for the first time, we'd love to have you. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can sign up with PayPal. You can do credit card. And you can also do Bitcoin BTC, and you get some cool perks, some benefits. There's AMP-only or contributors-only areas of our Discord server. There's an AMP-only Facebook group. There's a few other perks as well. You can learn more about those and get signed up over at amp.freetalklive.com.
Now, we've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein and some unusual purchases that he evidently made while in jail.
Size 5 women's panties.
Yes, and for some perspective on that, I wear a size 5. Mm-hmm. It's actually 3 to 7 that I wear, 3, 5, and 7, but 5 is the most comfortable. So it's a pretty small size, definitely too small for the average adult male.
Too small for Jeffrey Epstein, I suspect, as well, given that they say that his other orders were like XL to 3XL sweatshirts and briefs in men's medium.
Yeah, so he was definitely not wearing these panties. Now, what's weird about this? Now, Epstein's stay the first time at the West Palm Beach jail, I guess, he was allowed to leave the prison store where he bought these panties in a chauffeur-driven car that took him to his downtown office building for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. This dude was rich enough to get a break from jail 6 days a week.
Well, now, you don't have to be rich to get work release at a jail. So
that's pretty extreme work release, though.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say for sure whether that's unusual as far as work release is concerned. Generally, work release will let you out if you're, a reasonable person not expected to be a flight risk, essentially, as I understand it. Like, okay, well, you want to be productive. You've been a good boy in the jail for X amount of time, and we believe you're going to come back to check in at night, because basically what you do is you get released to go to your job during the daytime, and then at night you're expected to report back by a certain time, and if you're not back by that time, they may charge you criminally or, put an all-points bulletin out for your capture, and then you won't get to go out again. But in the case of Epstein, they actually get into a little bit deeper here. It got a little better than what you said. According to the story here and the research they did at the Miami Herald, because, again, they pulled a bunch of records from Palm Beach County, says what's clear from Palm Beach Sheriff's records is that Epstein's wealth provided him extraordinary privileges during his 13-month stay in the Palm Beach Stockade from June 30th, 2008 to July 22nd, 2009, including an unlocked cell door, almost unlimited access to a television, a perhaps uniquely generous work release program that meant he spent almost as much time outside the jail as in it. The longer he stayed, the cushier things got. 6-day-a-week work release was extended to 7. Hours outside of the cell were extended from 12 to 16. He was permitted to pass some of the time at home. Records that once referred to him as an inmate now called him a client.
Client? What the hell?
So he had plenty of opportunities to drop by Wal-Mart and buy his own panties.
His own panties, sure. And store them at his office where he was spending 12 to 16 hours a day. But what you pointed out during the break, Michael, was that apparently he did spend some amount of time without work release earlier. My
understanding is this work release started about 3 months after he originally went in.
Which is pretty standard for a work release program, not for sex offenders who aren't eligible for work release. But in most cases, if you get sentenced to 13 months in jail and you're good for 3 months and you can prove, hey, I have this job I need to get back to, that's about when you would get your work release.
So, but the thing we don't know is when, because we don't have the records and they don't say here, at least so far, is when were these panties ordered? Were the panties ordered during his work release time, or was it during the 3 months? Because if it was during the work release time, that really suggests this guy just can't stop thinking about, sex or whatever. And
I mean, who can?
So he's got to have his panties at the office and in the jail cell.
What I don't understand though is what role the panties were playing in his
I don't
escapades.
think we can get into that. Whatever it was.
Maybe they just made him feel better.
Whatever it was, I don't think we can talk about that on the radio because I suspect that he wasn't wearing them. But according to the story here, again, they called him a client after a little while in the records. Deputies required to wear business suits provided security for Epstein while he was on work release. They guarded the door to his office or home, sometimes from the outside, rather than keeping an eye directly on Epstein, which I don't think you typically get guards on work release.
Yeah, this is extraordinary. This is so far beyond a work release program that he must have been paying those guys to do this as a second job.
Well, it says that he was paying for that security, but I would tend to imagine that, I prefer to err on the side of humans are generally good. So I like to think that the deputies were probably watching him to make sure he didn't continue having sex with underage girls.
How would they know?
Well, they would know who went into the office and who didn't.
How do you know the girls weren't in there before they went, before they brought him there?
I don't.
He certainly could afford to send a driver around at, 5 a.m. or whatever time he needed to deliver them. Some deputies expressed relief in their daily reports that he seemed pleased with services rendered. The records from Palm Beach suggest the local sheriff's office never intended to treat the convicted sex offender as a typical inmate, explicitly because of his extraordinary wealth. In an email on the day Epstein reported to jail, Captain Mark Chamberlain wrote that the new inmate was a person of, quote, unusual means, unquote.
So they're incorrect. The jail is incorrect. He was not their client. They were his client.
And expressed concerns that other prisoners might try to extort or manipulate him. Chamberlain wrote, quote, his financial status lends itself to his being victimized while in custody, and as such, he has been placed in special management.
Which is true. You don't want to send somebody who has $500 billion, or $500 million, into a jail cell with, ordinary common day criminals.
He is poorly versed in jail routine and society, and his adjustment to incarceration will most likely be atypical. For the time being, I'm authorizing that his cell door be left unlocked and that he be given liberal access to the attorney room where a television will be installed.
I wonder how much that cost for Epstein. Probably just a few grand.
But it's interesting listening to this bureaucrat kind of dance around with bureaucraties on why they're giving this guy special treatment. I mean, they're never concerned with anybody else adjusting to jail. But here he says he's poorly versed in jail routine. Well, guess what? So's everybody who goes to jail for the very first time ever.
Yeah, I was poorly versed in jail routine, and I went to jail, and I lived, but
right. They don't give you it's not like you go and you get your first job where you sit down and watch the 20-minute video to let you know that you're going to have to get in line for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and these are the times that they're served. You just kind of pick it up as you go along, and the idea that this guy deserves some sort of special treatment, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Have you seen A Clockwork Orange?
Long time ago.
Its depiction of what it's like to enter a prison, and I've never been to prison, but I've been to jail, is extremely accurate. That's what the ordinary person gets. It's stripped down, get naked, let us search you, don't talk back. This is what you do. You obey commands, or we beat you. But with Epstein,
pretty much,
is, oh no, we're going to leave his cell unlocked and give him his own
special TV
television. And let him order panties. For unknown reasons.
According to Epstein's associates, he claimed he required, quote, 3 orgasms a day just to function.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean, there's a record, apparently, of who visited Epstein while on work release, a daily log maintained by deputies and tucked away in a safe, but that has been destroyed.
Imagine that.
Things that make you go,
wonder why.
Well, as you pointed out earlier, one of his attorneys was a young woman.
This is this time. The attorney story is that a very young female attorney was visiting him in the New York Correctional Center that he was staying in. And he was paying his attorneys to visit him for up to 12 hours a day so he didn't have to sit in his cell the whole time. But remember, when you have an attorney visit, that's a privileged visit, and they can't monitor you. So he may have been having sex with that woman.
Be sure to check the archives at freetalklive.com to stay up to date on all the show happening. We'll be back tomorrow.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results?